Go, perfect. I'm just letting more people in here. And then I've got to double check the stream, and then we'll be ready to go. Just a moment. Usually I do this about 10 minutes before the talk, but I had another client that ran over a little bit today. All right, so let's make sure that we are actually on here. There we go. Right, so back over to the Zoom. And to make that big, we go here. And there we go. Now I can see Ingrid. Yeah. There you go. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in the interest of time and trying to stay on time as best we can. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's see. Share there. And this should give us, oh, it did it wrong. Okay, I'm going to fix it. Stop the share. Go here, go here. The tech behind doing these things is always so much fun. There we go. And now. There, perfect. That's what I want. Okay, now I need to put this here. Go. Now I can get back over to the Zoom and share, and then we're ready to go. All right, so Ingrid, can you see this on my screen? This nice pink slide here?
Dorinda Smith.
Yay! Awesome, awesome. So
this is Rise Up to Cellular Regeneration and Longevity.
That's exactly what I want you guys to see. So this is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And usually the way I do these is I love to just run through my slides. And if everybody, as people come in, if everybody can just go ahead and mute themselves so it's nice and quiet while I'm giving my talk. Thank you so much. And then at the end, I'm going to open it up for questions, and I'm going to be here to give you some personal time. Does that sound good to everybody? Awesome, awesome. All right, well, this is our 2024 Rise Up to Cellular Generation and Longevity Mastermind. And I'm super excited about this talk because, you know, I hear people every single day in my business, and people are generally not as well educated in what they can do for their health. And it's very sad and disheartening to me because doctors are not giving you the information because they don't even know the information. They don't practice root cause medicine. And so it's very frustrating. And so a lot of holistic doctors and scientists like me, you know, we're just on a mission field basically to get the information into your hands so that you can wake up, you can rise up, you can actually start doing what you need to do for your health and no longer be deceived. Really come at this from an educated standpoint. So I don't want to waste your time today. So I'm going to start right off by giving you my big, hairy, audacious promise, because I am absolutely confident that I have the scientific truth that you need to learn. And so if you're burnt out, if you're an exhausted professional, if you're struggling with health issues, then I know that there's three things that you're going to need from me today. And so I'm going to give them to you. Bing, bang, boom. The first thing is I need you to know the truth behind what's happening in your loss of energy. You're feeling that you're losing productivity, you're losing your vitality. And I'm going to teach you how to stop being deceived in this area. The second thing is I'm going to teach you how to boost your energy, how to enhance your brain function. And when you do that, you automatically ignite your motivation, your passion, you get back your control, you feel empowered again. And that is really where we want to be living. Right? We don't want to be living where we're just trudging through each day and, we work our butts off, but then we get home and we're exhausted and we don't have time for our families and we're drinking caffeine just to keep going all day long, right? We don't want to live like that. And the science says we don't have to live like that. And that's why we're here today, so that I can teach you how. And the third thing is the actual action in how to do it. And first steps first is you need to uncover your actual root causes. And then once you have those root causes in hand, then you can take your very specific action steps to dramatically change your health, feel much better, get your joy and vitality back. And what you're going to love about this is that it is affordable. Okay. And so hang with me. I'm going to teach you a bunch of good stuff today. And basically, right now we're on a road. Okay. And you're traveling, if you are just doing things the normal conventional way, you're traveling on the road of conventional medicine in that car. Okay. And that car is old school. Number one, they're using antiquated blood tests that, that it doesn't even matter. Right? We've got much better ways scientifically of doing things, but your doctor's not yet practicing root cause medicine yet. The old way is, big pharma controls the funding of medical schools. And so, of course, that's what your doctor has is a nice big prescription pad. And that's how they treat. They treat with big pharma and they treat at the symptom level, which is the wrong way of doing things. Well, okay, it's got its advantages, okay, but it's not a cure. But that's how everybody lives, right? The problem with that is that big pharma causes cellular damage. Even if it's helping one symptom over here, downstream, it's screwing up 10 or 20 different cellular pathways. And that's why you have that big long package insert when you open up your prescription box and it says all the different things, or when you're watching TV and the pharmaceutical company comes on and says, oh, brand new, ding, 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 awesome new drug, but hang on, it can cause death. Right? I mean, hilarious, right? We all laugh at these things, but we still keep doing things the old school way. There is a better way. That way, you're going to get worse over time. And that's why people continue to rack up different diagnoses. They get more and more prescription medications as they age. Okay, we're just going to scrap this. Okay, we're just going to knock it off because we don't need to go that direction anymore. The science says we have new proven root cause correcting science that deals with cellular renewal rather than cellular damage, that works directly at the root cause level. And you get healthier over time that way. And so tell me, which road would you rather drive on for your life? Right? I mean, duh, everybody's going to go in the more positive direction. And I just want you to imagine for a minute that if your exhaustion, your burnout, your symptoms, all the different issues that people deal with, what if we could get it just 50% better? Do you think that that would make a difference in your life? I mean, of course it would, right? But what if we got it 75% better? What if, like me, and I'm going to tell you my story in a minute, what if you could get 95% better? I mean, that's a dramatic change in your life, and it does make a huge difference. And this is the power of the new science that we have today. Hence why I'm sitting here teaching you. So if you don't know me, my name is Dorinda Smith, and I am the owner of True Wellness Today, and I am a research immunotoxicologist and a medical scientist. It's just a big, long Scrabble word that means that I deal with looking at toxins on the immune system. And we know that toxins are the #1 root cause of all disease. So it's a pretty important place to study. And I specialized in autoimmune disease. I have 25 years experience as a scientist, and I did my PhD fellowship at the National Institutes of Environmental Health Sciences and Duke University VA Medical Center. And now, after healing myself, I am a licensed holistic practitioner with the Professional Wellness Alliance. And it's what we do is we basically optimize your health. We are working at the root cause level to help you optimize your health, and disease goes away as a side effect when you get rid of the root causes. Your immune system is an amazing machine created by God, and it knows how to heal you if you just get the junk out of its way and you give it what it needs. And so that's basically what holistic healthcare and the new science of cellular regenerative medicine, longevity, epigenetics, that's basically what all these sciences have come to, is they've come to this beautiful understanding that yes, your body is a holistic thing. Your brain and your mental health is not separate from your gut health, is not separate from the rest of your body, from your immune system. It all works together. And yes, we have powerful new ways to really help you optimize your health. And of course, I'm partnered now with thousands of other health specialists. And our big mission is just to transform lives and change the face of healthcare. Just give you the truth so you're no longer deceived. That's my powerful mission. I've been a Christian for 35 years. And once I healed, the Lord showed me that this was the whole reason for why I'm here in the first place and why he had me go through all my suffering, is to empower you with the new science. And my goal in life every day is just to help people to achieve their optimal health so they can live out their God-given passion. And that's, of course, we were all created for amazing work, and God has a plan for all of our lives. And so let me tell you a little bit about Scott, and I'm going to give you some awesome testimonials throughout this talk. This is Scott, and he's one of those, man's man, right? He was a Hollywood stuntman. He's a professional surfer, rides his bike 15 miles every day, right? He was amazing. But then he started getting sick and his whole life started falling apart. And he was actually misdiagnosed with a very severe and deadly autoimmune disease called Wagner's from USC. And he felt like he was withering away and literally dying when serendipitously, I call it a God thing, he found me on a podcast one day and we started working together. Within a month, we found his root causes, and it was a combination of different things as usual. And he says Dory was brilliant, collaborative, always there when I needed her. He says within 12 months, he was back to his previous 80% of his health. Within 18 months, he felt that he was at 100%. And he said something cute. He said, "Now I wonder where she hides her wings. As I write this, tears come to my eyes." And this is a man's man. And yet I've seen this man cry because of, everything that he's gone through. And he thought he was losing his life, but he got his life back. And he's healthier now than he's ever been. And that's not me, okay? That's the science. That's what we can do. So I want to tell you my own crazy nightmare story, if you'll let me, because pretty amazing what I had to go through to get to where I am today. And the reason why I tell you this story is because I want you to know that I've suffered. I've suffered maybe more than a lot of people with autoimmune disease. So you see my background, that I was doing my master's and PhD I'm in immunotoxicology, and I was specialized in autoimmune disease. I just had a special, oh, it was just so interesting to me. And that was another God thing, that I went into that field in the first place, because I had actually had multiple symptoms from the time I was 12 years old, but no one ever put them together as autoimmune disease. I never put them together as autoimmune disease. No one ever did, until I really started getting very ill toward the end of my PhD work. And then I finally did get my first autoimmune diagnosis, and it was a deadly form of scleroderma. And I was told that if I was lucky, I could live 10 years. And so I'd better get my house in order. And within 3 years from there, I actually developed 7 autoimmune diseases. And if you know anything about autoimmune disease, it's pretty common that people will start stacking up different diagnoses. People just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, until they finally go. And so that's what happened to me. But I had this little baby to take care of. This is my Jana when she was a baby. She's all grown up now. I'll show you a picture of her in a minute. She was my little pride and joy. I was sick. My daughter was sick. My daughter was so sick that she couldn't take care of Jana. And so here I was raising Jana, and I was sick. And then after about 3 years, I had to go out on disability. I actually lost my career as a scientist. And I had been writing papers. I was at the top of my game. And so I know what it's like to be that professional that you've got your whole life going. I spent over $200,000 on my education, right? I mean, I was at the top of the top, and illness took me out, right? I mean, I think that's probably most people's biggest fear. And that's exactly what happened to me. That's my nightmare story. And so I had to go out on disability. I was very, very ill. And that went on for 14 years. So I actually survived longer than they thought I would. And then there came a point where I actually collapsed one day. I thought I had been in just a horrible, horrible flare for about 2 weeks. And I thought maybe this is the end. I was having those thoughts like, okay, I've lasted longer than I should have. Maybe this is the end. And I collapsed on the floor one day, and no one was home. So I was there in the house alone, and I just cried out to the Lord. And I just said, Lord, just if there's anything that you can show me, because I'm still raising Jana. I mean, please don't take me yet, right? And I basically said, look, if I've missed anything, if there's anything you can show me, please show me. Well, the Lord answered my prayer that day, and that's the truth. And you can go to heaven and you can ask him, because that's the absolute truth. I got up off the floor, I got into my bed, and there was a YouTube video on the TV, and it said my main diagnosis, scleroderma and functional medicine. And I just blew a raspberry. I was like, oh, I'm like, whatever, right? I mean, here I was. I was still an arrogant scientist trained in conventional medicine. I didn't believe any of that natural hocus pocus stuff, right? I thought that was just a bunch of hooey. And so I didn't watch the video, but the Lord kept tapping on my shoulder. And it was as though, I mean, I didn't hear any audible voices or anything like that, but it was very much like he said, you need to watch this, you need to watch this, you need to watch this. And I finally just out loud, I said, okay, I will watch the video. And so I did. I watched it, and it was full of other scientists and top doctors in holistic medicine and functional medicine who were getting amazing results. I mean, like people like Terry Walls, who has MS and was in a wheelchair, and she's a medical doctor and scientist at the VA center. And she literally is walking and riding bikes now. She got out of the wheelchair, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what is this? So I did my own meta-analysis like scientists do basically from my bed. I looked up all the science and I saw that it was very credible. And so I thought, well, okay, what do I have to lose? I'm going to start working with this and I'm going to maybe get a functional doctor and really start seeing if this will work for me. And lo and behold, it did. And what's beautiful about this whole new way, the new science of practicing medicine basically is what it is. It's an evolution of medicine where we're learning so much more now exponentially. And we really don't have to do things the old school way and just, dope autoimmune patients or thyroid patients up with prednisone, right? We don't have to use tons of metformin for diabetes. There are ways to turn these things around naturally if you just teach people how. And so holistic healthcare is a very precise and evidenced way to get your health back, right? And it's based on finding all those different root causes that are happening in individual bodies and mapping those against these person's unique genetic factors. And I'm going to teach you a little bit more about that in a minute, because I know I'm using some big words like epigenetics and people are like, what's that? I'm going to teach you more about that if you don't know what it is, okay? And of course, it's a complete holistic approach. And that's what's beautiful about it. It really does work, okay? And so my results, now it did take me about 2 years to get to a place where I knew that I was no longer a sick puppy. And a total of about 3 years to really get amazingly better. So this is no quick fix. Okay, if you've been sick for a while or you've been developing symptoms for a while, you just have to accept the fact that there's going to be some work to do here. Okay, and you're not going to just buy a supplement or do some little detox for a month and amazingly be healthy. It doesn't work that way. And so we all just have to accept the fact that, okay, our bodies have been screwed up for a while. We're going to have to do some work to fix it. But once we do, we're going to be healthier than we've ever been in our entire lives. And the whole journey, I got to tell you, and I tell this to my clients all the time, and they all say the same thing once they get it, is that this journey of healing, okay, folks, it is way bigger than just helping yourself physically feel better. Okay, you're changing on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. It's an amazing process going through a health journey. It truly, truly is. And everyone who does it, they say the same thing, that they grew as people, as well-rounded people. And so my life became completely transformed. And this is the part that you guys can whoop whoop with me here. I am considered 95% healed by my own conventional rheumatologist. Okay. And that's a pretty amazing statement, because they don't believe that autoimmune disease is reversible at all. And yet they admit that I was one sick puppy with 7 critical autoimmune diseases, and now they can no longer diagnose me with even one autoimmune disease. That's the power of the new science. Okay. And so what does that look like for me? Well, I've got abundant energy now. My mitochondria are all healed. I don't have any more brain fog or that loss of motivation, all the, stuff that happens with the anxiety and the depression and all of that when you're sick. I don't have any more dependence on big pharma. And I was on 20 different medications a day and no more. I'm completely off and have been for 7 years now. I have no more pain, no more health limitations. I don't get up in the morning wondering if I'm going to be okay or not. Okay. All my ANA, my biomarkers, they're all pretty much optimal at this point. Like, I can still tweak here and there. Okay. But like I say, they cannot diagnose me with anything anymore. I am that healthy. My gut and my nutrition issues are much gone. I think, there's still a little bit of work there to do. But I've lost 100 pounds, and that was huge. I thought I would carry that weight until I died. I don't have fatty liver disease anymore. That was one of the first things that went away when I started working on my health. I had multiple different invisible infections. Those were some of my root causes. They're gone now. I used to be a horrible insomniac, and I would go for days without sleeping and then crash. And none of that is happening at all anymore. And I don't have any more toxicity. So maybe I have a little, right? I think everybody has a little, but these are some of the main deeper root causes that people have when they're suffering from different chronic illnesses, whether it's thyroid disease, whether it's diabetes, whether it's an autoimmune disease, cancer, heart issues, even Alzheimer's. They're all related, and I'm going to teach you about that today. And there's just so much more. I could actually do probably 5 slides of all the different symptoms that I had and how they're all gone now. And of course, my life has dramatically changed. Of course, I got my professional career as a scientist back. I was able to come completely off of Social Security disability, and I was on that for many, many years. Now, who do you know that goes on disability and comes off of disability because they got so damn healthy? Okay, well, that's me. Okay, and that's my clients too. And not only my clients, but there's lots of great holistic practitioners out there who are doing this work for people. And it's a beautiful thing. We call it, again, the evolution of medicine. I'm now a licensed holistic practitioner with the Professional Wellness Alliance. And to date, I have helped thousands of people learn how to find their root causes and correct them with very specific personalized protocols. That's how people get their health back. And of course, my clients are all living the life like me. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I couldn't be happier. And while I had to go through that hell, I had to go through that suffering for so many years, the way I look at it, it was all a part of God's design for my life so that I can help you. And it's nowhere near what Jesus had to go through as far as suffering. So as a Christian, it was hard, but I'm okay with that. And here's my family now. This is a most recent Christmas picture with Jana all grown up, and her mama is better now. Her mama is doing her own health protocol as well, getting amazingly better from traumatic brain injury and gut issues and all kinds of things. And so now, of course, I'm on this passionate mission. You cannot shut me up. I know this is what God created me to do. Me and all these other, I'm sure that if you follow any kind of holistic medicine whatsoever, you know who these people are. This is Jeffrey Bland, the father of functional medicine himself, Terry Walls, who helps literally many, many thousands of people with MS and other autoimmune diseases. This is Dr. Dan Pompa. Josh Axe, you probably recognize Jonathan Otto, which is a health filmmaker, all these wonderful people. And there's literally thousands of us around the world who are doing things a little bit differently. And so I'm going to show you how that works. But first, I want to tell you about one of my clients. She's a doctor, and I work with a lot of higher end professionals. I also work with children. I work with housewives. I work with everybody. But it's really awesome when you see these higher end professionals like Dorothy. She's a molecular pathologist, and she also developed scleroderma. Now, hers developed faster than mine. Her form was even more severe. And so you can kind of tell by the way her face looks that it's a little bit misshapen. Her hands don't work the same. It's hard for her to use her microscope. But she says, as a doctor, I was never taught the root causes of my autoimmune disease or how to reverse it, because doctors aren't taught that way. I wasn't either, even as an autoimmune disease specialist. And she believed that she was incurable, because of course, That's what the doctors tell us, right? And doctors are gods, right? So she says it took a scientist and a medical detective like Dory to find my root causes and correct them. And she says, and this is what always gets me, she says, Dory completely changed my professional life. I'm 75% corrected at this point and still getting better. Now, that's a beautiful testimony. And so at this point, I want to bring up some things that you may be thinking, and we're going to talk about some of these at the end as well, because I usually, during the question and answer time, I usually like to get in there and ask people, all right, hit me with anything negative you might be thinking, and let me help you, and let me give you the truth about it. Because I've had a lot of these limiting mindset issues in my own head when I was learning all about the new science. And so, like, one, my doctor says that long haul COVID, diabetes, thyroid disease, autoimmunity, they're all incurable, right? That's a limiting mindset because we know now scientifically that they are fixable. You have to just do it a different way than the way conventional medicine does it. Another one, I'm just getting older. Isn't loss of energy and productivity, motivation, isn't that just normal as you get older? No, it's not. And we have multiple blue zones around the world that will prove it. And right. And so it really depends on your genetics and how you live and the environment that you live in. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm stuck on meds for life. That's what the doctor said, and doctors are gods. So therefore, we're just going to believe everything they say, and we're just going to live that pharmaceutical lifestyle. Yeah, you don't have to do that. You really don't. Okay. Now, there are a lot of people out there who have done some research, they've done some diets on the internet, they've even been to other functional medicine doctors, and they still feel that they didn't get enough help. They also feel like they hate dieting and like it's so very difficult to stick to a healthier diet. Amen. Right? I know. I still live that battle. It just gets easier as you learn how to do it. You learn how to bust your cravings with the right biochemicals, right? It does get easier as time goes on. Truth be known, though, oops, I went the wrong direction here. Let me go back there. Truth be known, I will love to go have a watermelon lime margarita and a big Mexican meal as well. I just don't do it very often. Okay, that's a difference. I'm not going to do it every day. And then my body can handle it, right? Another one, I hear this regularly. Oh, I'm afraid this is just another marketing trick. I can just learn all this stuff by going on Dr. Google and I can heal myself. Yeah. How's that worked out for you so far? You're sitting here, you're still looking for answers, right? And a lot of, we have a whole nother side, of our ministry that teaches doctors and nurse practitioners and health professionals how to do holistic healthcare and how to use the latest science. Okay. And so they have to even learn how to do this. Okay. Definitely people who are not trained in medicine definitely need to have a mentor of some kind that can teach them how to do this. And then you can be the CEO of your own health for sure. And the last one that people always talk about is, well, it's just going to take too much time, or it's going to take too much effort on my part. Maybe I won't be able to do it. Maybe I won't be able to stick with it. I might fail out of it. Maybe it's too much money, right? And I want to talk to that for just a second. Because here is a big truth that I want to just, throw at you, a big truth bomb. In 2022 alone, 5.2 billion with a B dollars was injected into 130 different longevity business deals. Okay, now longevity is kind of a big overarching name for holistic medicine as a whole. There's been so much money poured into the study of longevity, right? So you think it's real? I think it's real. It's obviously real. It's not a scam, right? major investors would not be pouring billions of dollars into these companies if it was not real, true science that actually works, right? But look at this statistic. This was America, okay? The global wellness economy was valued at 5.6 trillion with a T in 2022, right? And that's a 12% increase over 2020. The science is exploding, folks. And you don't want to be left behind in this evolution of medicine. You want to learn so that you can get well and you don't have to do things the old school way. Okay? All right. Well, what I forgot to say as well, before I go into this teaching part here, is that, when you put money into your health, you get a much greater return on your investment back out. Because if you don't put money into your health, you will wind up spending a lot more in the long run. And that's not just in money. That's in suffering. That's in lost family time. You know what it's like. If you're sitting here, you probably know what it's like to deal with chronic illness on some level, whether it's the beginning or whether you've been in this for a while. You know the kind of hell that you live with. It only gets worse. But if you do some work on it, right, you can actually turn that trajectory around. And that's what I'm here to teach you. So I want to show you some of the different sciences that on the level that we deal with. So we're dealing at the cellular level specifically. We love to deal with the science of energetics and your mitochondrial health. And if you don't know what your mitochondria are, let's go back to high school biology. They're your little energy powerhouses of the cell. They create all of your energy for all the work that goes on in your body. And they are critical for your energy. But not only that, we have learned in the last 5 years alone that your mitochondria and consequently your metabolic health that comes from your mitochondria is the most critical juncture for you having good health overall, for you having good mental health, good hormonal health, for you staving off things like cancer and Alzheimer's as you age. Your mitochondria play a critical role. And when your mitochondria start to go a little wonky, you're going to start having certain symptoms, like you just notice you're more tired. You notice your brain doesn't work the same anymore. If you follow your blood glucose levels at your doctor's office once a year, you will notice that your blood glucose levels are starting to creep up higher and higher. Now, your doctor won't say anything about it, not until you get to be 105, and then they'll say, oh, pre-diabetes. But what we know scientifically is once you get up over 85, so that's 20 whole points where you're getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and your doctor's not even looking at that, okay? This is a very critical point that I'm making here. You need to know your blood glucose levels, okay? We're going to talk more about that in a minute too. Because you're not only going to have the fatigue and the brain fog and the high blood sugar that's getting worse and worse, you're going to start having gut issues, hormonal issues, more and more little invisible infections, just all kinds of little aches and pains, right? You're going to start noticing. And people say, it's just age. It's not a big deal. It's just age. Yeah, that's not the truth. It's the beginning of mitochondrial dysfunction. That's what it is. Now, you let that go on long enough. And what happens is now you're starting to develop more severe chronic disease. Things like prediabetes and diabetes, thyroid disease, especially in women, but a lot more men are having thyroid issues as well now. Even serious mental health issues and hormonal imbalances, even things like autoimmunity, heart disease, Alzheimer's, infertility in women, okay? Mitochondrial dysfunction is the #1 cause of infertility in women. And most people have no clue that that is a scientific fact. And it can be reversed within just a few months if you teach women how to do it. And then these women who considered themselves infertile and were so sad that they could not have children, now they truly can have children. And this is huge, right? Now, what we do in this new science is we know these facts scientifically, and so we target what damages the mitochondria to help people feel better. Of course, if something's damaging your mitochondria, we want to find out what it is. That's a root cause, and we want to get rid of it, right? So that your mitochondria can get better again. And they do. Your body loves to heal. If you can get rid of the root causes and give your body everything that it needs, your body will heal itself. God created you that way, and that's the way it works. And if you don't believe me, go cut your finger, wait about 3 days, and it'll heal. And that's just a, that's just a small example, but go have an operation. Major damage, right? You'll heal. Your body's doing that. The doctor didn't do that. Your body is doing that for you. So you need to believe in your own healing power, right? And of course, once we help the mitochondria to be healthier, now you're protected against not only all kinds of chronic illness and heart disease and everything else, but you're also protected against things like cancer. Because the latest research is very clear on this, that the mitochondria play a pivotal role in cancers. Okay. Now, when we look at cellular regeneration, that's basically a big long Scrabble word that means that you can kill off your bad cells, because your body does it every day, by the way. Your body kills off hundreds of millions of cells every single day and then recreates them for you. The problem is that you keep recreating unhealthy cells because you're loaded with toxins, right? And you're not eating right. You don't have all the factors that your cells need to produce healthier cells. And so therefore you get sicker and sicker and sicker. But this is what's called, it's really what the whole longevity and anti-aging field is about. It's cellular regeneration and this big word called autophagy, which basically is just the natural recycling of your cells, killing off the ones that are old, that are creating a lot of inflammation, that are making you sick, and hopefully replacing them with newer cells that are way healthier. And if you can figure out how to do that with the right protocols, then, oh my goodness, this is how healing happens, okay? It even reverses your age. And I'm talking about your biological age. And don't turn me off and think I'm a quack when I say that, because you can go look me up and you can see Dr. David Sinclair has proven that in both mouse models and in human models, that we can reverse our biological age. Maybe you'll still be 60 in chronological years, but in biological years, you can turn back the clock. You can create younger, healthier cells that will keep you happier for the rest of your life, give you a lot more vitality. And so then there's this whole science of epigenetics. And this is like, oh, it's a big buzzword going on right now because it's just amazing. We've known about epigenetics for about 20 years now, since 2002, 22 years, I guess. And it's basically what we learned back in 2002 that rocked the scientific community worldwide, is that your genes, yeah, okay, your genes are your genes. But the way they express is completely different from moment to moment. That your genes can either express in a very negative way towards illness, or your genes can express in a positive way. Okay. And just because you have a bad gene like the BRCA gene does not mean that you have to be like Angelina Jolie and go cut off your breasts because, oh no, you've got the BRCA gene, you're definitely going to get cancer. That's just not the truth. Okay. And it's a classic example of someone who is very uneducated getting some very bad advice, right? That literally she did not have to do that. That she could have done some epigenetic work, turned off the BRCA gene, kept it from expressing, and she probably would have never had to worry about cancer. And that is a scientific fact, okay? Your genes literally do. They change from moment to moment depending on the environment that you put them in. And I'm talking about your cellular environment. Okay. And so with this new study, this new science of epigenetics, we can now look at your genes, see the way they're expressing in real time. Okay, that should blow your mind. But this is what science can do now. We can see the way your genes are expressing in real time. And then we can design protocols that help to turn off the bad genes and turn on the good genes for much better health, much better health. And this is like a bottom line way that we help people. And we know now as scientists that if we could just teach this information to people and make sure that every newborn baby has their genes tested so that we know where their mutations are, we know the direction that they will travel if their body is under inflammation, then what we can do is we can help mama to take care of that baby so that the baby may never get the serious chronic illnesses that we see today. This is where science is at right now. We know we can do it. It's just a matter of getting the information into everyone's hands. So if you're a mom, if you're a grandma, dad, grandpa, right? Every new baby that comes into your family needs a good genetics test from a professional. I'm not talking about the 23andMe, okay? I'm talking about the right kind of genetic testing that we can match to chronic illnesses, and we can protect that sweet little baby for the rest of its life in a much better way than we've ever been able to in the past. Doesn't that sound awesome? Right? That's where we're at scientifically. So I hope that you guys are learning some new things today. I'm super excited to be teaching it to you. And we're almost there. I've just got a few more things to show you. I've come through a lot of it so far. I've got a little more meat to give you though. Everybody okay to learn a little more? Yeah? Feel like you're okay? Your eyes aren't glazing over yet? All right. All right, so let's understand what I just said a minute ago. Your genes are not your destiny. So I don't care if mom had Alzheimer's. I don't care if dad had heart disease. Okay? You do not, even if you have the same types of genes as mom and dad, you do not have to go that direction. You do have so much more control than you know. We know scientifically that 90 to 95% of chronic illness is because of your lifestyle and your cellular environment, not your genes. Okay. And so then there's another one that I want to tell you about, and it's called the science of nutrigenomics. And again, it has to do with your genes and the environment of your genes and how your genes express, but now how your genes express because of the food that you're eating. Okay, because your food is really about 50%, at least that's what scientists believe today. Who knows, it might be more. But your food creates about 50% of your cellular environment. And you can believe that because you're constantly putting things in your mouth, right? And so, of course, it plays a huge role. Food is not just calories or macros, okay? Food is literal biochemical messengers that tell your genes how to express from moment to moment to moment. And if you eat a candy bar and a bunch of sugar, I can guarantee you that if you have a bunch of bad genes, which everybody's got some, okay, they're going to express in a negative way just within 30 seconds of you eating that thing. And they're going to cause some inflammation. The more you do that, the more inflammation you have, and therefore the sicker you get over time. Okay. It's not rocket science. So yes, we do have to learn how to eat according to our own genetics. And this is the way that you can take a newborn baby and you can teach that baby how to live in such a way that they may never develop serious chronic illness. Okay. And one thing that we know over the last like 10 years or so is that most functional providers, while they will teach you, the chiropractors out there who are doing functional medicine and, holistic doctors, naturopaths, right? They will teach you right away that you need to change your diet. Every single one of them will tell you, okay, you gotta slow down on the sugar. Yeah, you gotta stop eating all the high carbs. Okay, yeah. They're gonna tell you all of that, right? But they're not matching it up with the specific genetic tests. So you can see exactly what you should be eating according to your genetics. And that's what's been missing all along. And that's what we can do now. Okay. And that's probably why you come to a scientist to do this kind of work rather than a chiropractor. And so one more thing, the microbiome. And now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last 5 years, you probably know all about your microbiome. You know that your body is loaded with just trillions and trillions of different little bugs. And a lot of them are really, really good for you. And they're helping you to create your mental health and create your, everything that you need for life in general, right? We know how important the microbiome is, not only in the gut, but throughout your entire body. Right? It does definitely have a significant impact on your mental health, on your immunological health, on your inflammation, right? And so making sure that we work at the gut level. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, it's all about the gut. It's not all about the gut. Okay. It's all about the root causes that cause the gut to have a problem. And so you can't just work at the gut level. You have to go deeper. And this is part of the truth that you need to hear. When you hear people talking about, yes, it's all about the gut, and all you have to do are these special gut things and fix the balance the microbiome and you'll be cured. I'm sorry, your gut will still be sick if you still have heavy metals, because it's the heavy metals that are causing the gut to be sick in the first place. You will still have gut health issues and immunological issues and sickness if you've got some other invisible infections, right? And you've not found them and you've not done anything about them, right? So very, very important that we evolve with the science. We have learned a lot about the gut, yes, but it's not the bottom line. There are deeper root causes that we really have to get to, and we have to do the work to correct those in order for the gut to then get balanced and stay that way. Okay. All right. And I want you to know, after I've told you all this, that yeah, it's a challenge to get your health back. I'm not going to lie to you and say, hey, it's a piece of cake. It's not a piece of cake. It's challenging. It's work, but it will be the best work that you have ever done in your life. And, and if you're a professional in any capacity, you know what the truth is. I mean, and even moms and dads taking care of kids, right? We know what the truth is about success overall, whether it's a health program that you're doing, or whether it's you're taking care of raising your kids, right? Or whether it's doing your job, right? We know that in order for you to have success, you need to be coachable. You need to value your mentorship. You need to learn from others. You need to be willing to implement and take quick action in order to take care of whatever it is you got to take care of. You can't procrastinate, put it off. You need to be focused on progress, not on perfection, because none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm literally only 95% healed, but you would never know it, right? So it's not about perfection. Okay. I like my cheesecake once in a while too. Okay. It's about progress, right? And if you have an attitude that you're just going to be responsible with your body, you're going to be a good steward with your body. You're not going to sit around and drive through McDonald's once a week because you know that that's not healthy. And so if you're committed and you decide, no, I'm just never going to quit, I'm just always going to learn how to take that next baby step to help myself get healthier, then you can absolutely do this. Anybody can do this, right? Now, unless you got some really serious trauma, some really serious emotional health issues, that's a little bit different. And those come from some of your root causes too. But then we can refer you to an awesome functional psychologist who can help you with those traumas and help you with that side, because there is a very real side that stress and traumas do cause inflammation. They do cause chronic disease. And so really important that we start there. And then that's going to help you to start changing your diet and start being able to implement everything that you need to implement once your emotional health starts really feeling better, right? Because it starts here. So let's talk about the deep meat now, okay? The real science. I'm going to show you what's actually causing the burnout, the fatigue, the brain fog, the pain, the long haul COVID. Yeah, I'm saying it out loud. I'm going to tell you what's causing the long haul COVID with the science. This is not my opinion. This is the real science. What's causing the diabetes, the high blood sugar that's creeping up, the thyroid disease, the autoimmunity? What's causing all this? Even the cancer, even the Alzheimer's, even the heart disease. What's causing it all? I'm going to teach you that. Also, I'm going to give you what we call our cellular transformation roadmap. And I'm going to also give you some information about that that's free at the end today. You all know that's coming. And so thank you for hanging in there so I can teach this to you. And then I will give you that free step-by-step cellular transformation training. And this is going to help you to uncover your unique root causes so you can find out, why is my body acting this way? And what can I really do to fix it? Because you don't want to be stuck there anymore, right? You want to be able to take back your power. All right, are you ready for this? There's been over 600,000 research articles written about this one topic alone. And this is where it all boils down to the nitty gritty. Okay, this is proven evidence-based science. 600,000 studies showing the same thing is truth. Okay, it's not woo-woo. It's not, oh, holistic medicine, you can't believe in it, it's all a bunch of hooey. No, I think 600,000 research studies pointing to the same thing is truth, bottom line, right? So let's talk about that. We know what it boils down to. Most illnesses are boiling down to metabolic dysfunction. That's your mitochondria getting all wonky for one reason or another, and chronic inflammation. Okay. If you have your mitochondria are not happy, they're going to create a bunch of chronic inflammation. And there's going to be this domino effect that happens. And everything is just going to start going wrong, 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 wrong. Okay. But if you turn around the metabolic dysfunction, if you lower the chronic inflammation, the domino effect happens in the opposite direction. You are not stuck with your health issues most of the time. Now, I'm not saying that science can make us 100% perfect, all of us. I'm not saying that. Please don't hear me say that, because that's definitely not true. We're not there yet. But we are at a place where we know that we can turn things around. We definitely can. And people can get anywhere from 50 or 60% better all the way up to even 100% better for some people if they're at the beginning of their metabolic dysfunction. Okay. And so super important for you to know this. And kind of everybody knows this, I think, but people, it's just remarkable that even though we've got people like Dr. Oz and Dr. Sears and Dr. Willett and Dr. Paul out there, and they've all been talking about this for 20 or 30 years. Yet people still get really confused when it comes to their health and what it all boils down to. And this is it right here. Okay. This is a study that just came out last year. Just so this is a brand new study that basically says only 12% of American adults are actually metabolically healthy. And that means 88% of people are walking around with damaged mitochondria that are creating their energy problems, that's creating their brain fog, that's creating their diabetes, that's creating their thyroid disease, that's creating their autoimmunity, that's creating their cancer, that's creating their heart disease. Okay? 88% of people are chronically metabolically sick, damaged mitochondria. And this is the bottom line, folks. This is the bottom line. And this is going to give you control back. Okay? So here's another study. Just have to get my little picture out of the way there so I can read it. This is a study that just came out in 2021. Again, in scientific terms, this is brand new. Okay, within a few years is still considered brand new science. Okay, we absolutely know now that chronic inflammation and metabolic disease go together. And it's the beginning of the issue. It's the beginning of the whole chronic illness issue. Now, what gets really interesting is we've known all along when it comes to COVID-19, almost from the very beginning, we knew that people who had metabolic dysfunction, people who had diabetes, people who were a little overweight, people who had insulin resistance or other chronic health issues, they did not fare as well, right? And so now we have the studies that show us why. And what does it boil down to? Metabolic dysfunction. The mitochondria are not happy. And why are the mitochondria not happy? This is what you should be thinking in your head at this point in the talk. Why do the mitochondria get wonky? Why do they get unhappy? Why do they get sick? And we're going to talk about that next once I go through some of the science for you. Let's look at thyroid disease. Look at this. Thyroid hormones are clinically tied to metabolic syndrome, damaged mitochondria. So people are like, why are so many women having problems with their thyroid and hormones? Metabolic dysfunction. Every single one of those people are going to have increasing amounts of blood sugar, higher cortisol levels, damaged hormones, right? It's all boiling down to metabolic syndrome. Look at autoimmune diseases. Now, I could show you, literally, I could show you 600,000 papers. You don't want to see 600,000 papers. I don't want to show you 600,000 papers, but but I'm just showing you like the cream of the crop here, just so that you can see the science is credible, the science is real. Okay, this is in pharmacological research papers. Okay, metabolic syndrome, autoimmunity, and rheumatic diseases, they are all related. Metabolic dysfunction is related to your gut microbiome being out of balance. It's related to cancer. It's related to your sleep and your circadian rhythm. Alzheimer's is directly related to metabolic syndrome and systemic inflammation, especially in the brain, and the cells degenerating in the brain. And what are they in this particular study? What are they saying caused it? The Western diet. And what did I tell you before? That 50% of your metabolic syndrome, of your mitochondria being unhappy, is because of the food that you're putting on the end of your fork. Your food is literally killing your mitochondria. And I know I said that pretty sharply, but you need to hear it loud and clear. In love, your food is killing your mitochondria, and it will eventually cause your death. And so we do need to revisit how we're eating, but not just how we're eating, all those other root causes as well, like the heavy metals, the invisible infections, the chemicals, all of that. Okay. Epigenetics and metabolic syndrome, a comprehensive review. And like, it's hard for me to go and read all this stuff to you guys, and your eyes will probably glaze over anyway, but I want you to hear this sentence in particular. genetic predispositions and environmental factors, including dietary alterations, lifestyle, and your metabolic status, the status of your mitochondria, are identified to interact with the human epigenome, highlighting the importance of epigenetic factors as underlying processes in the cause of various diseases. Okay. Boom. All right. That's the bottom line right there. Okay. Metabolic syndrome and autophagy. Remember I told you what autophagy was? That's like the latest study of longevity and how and cellular regeneration, how your cells are naturally regenerating all the time, and that you have control over that. You have control over whether they regenerate in a way that makes you younger or regenerate in a way that make you older and sicker. And fasting. Fasting is an amazing anti-inflammatory lifestyle practice that literally changes your gut microbiome overnight, changes the metabolic syndrome, helps the cellular regeneration so that now your mitochondria are getting younger and happier and healthier. And so this really should blow your mind, because this gives you back your control. Okay. And I picked this picture with the guy with the smile on his face while his mind is being blown, right? Because this is awesome news. Okay. With the new science, we can literally take control of our health. And there's a bunch more stuff here. And I'm not going to take the time to go through all of this today because I want to be done and get to your questions. But literally, we know that when we do what we call the old school functional medicine, it makes people better, right? And now what we have is we have functional medicine on steroids, basically, with the epigenetics that we know now, with the cellular regenerative, with the longevity studies, with the microbiome, everything that we've learned, it's like functional medicine on steroids now. And that's why you want to work with a scientist when you do your health work. There's not a whole lot of us out there that are actually seeing clients, to be honest. And there's another paper here that talks about, more old school functional medicine being the new operating system for the evolution of medicine. Here's another one in JAMA. This is quite literally the most prestigious paper in science. And we know that functional medicine model of care works. Right? It really works because you're operating at the root cause level. Here's another study that shows that basically your doctor is about 17 years behind the science, and that's why you're still sick. And that's not a good thing. Okay, people die in 17 years not having the knowledge that they need. And we know what scripture says about that in Hosea, that people, they die from lack of knowledge, right? So my job, I'm put on this earth, is to give you back that knowledge. And there's more. There's all these studies about the gut microbiome and how your gut is really your second brain, and all the environmental factors and the metabolic stuff that play a role in people getting anxiety and depression, or people getting schizophrenia even, or people getting Alzheimer's. Right? We know that if you've got a leaky gut, you've also got a leaky brain. And I can take this one further now. There's new studies that are out now that if you have leaky gut, you also have leaky brain, and you also have leaky epithelial linings, which is your veins, your arteries. And that's why you get atherosclerosis. That's why you get heart disease. That's why you have strokes. Yes, it does start with the gut microbiome and the leaky gut and the leaky brain. Right? But remember, there are deeper root causes that are causing your gut microbiome to be a mess. So we've got to find those root causes. This was an amazing study that showed how you basically can reverse even the worst of the worst brain diseases like schizophrenia and Alzheimer's and autism and all these terrible things, MS, Parkinson's, ALS. You can reverse them to a significant extent by changing the gut microbiome. gluten sensitivity. I mean, these studies just go on and on and on, folks. So I'm going to tell you more about how you can take control now. First, I want to tell you about Jackie. Jackie was one of my clients a few years ago, and she's just a beautiful woman. She had literally been sick her entire life and never knew why, had been from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, even a couple of functional doctors before she came to us. And what we did is we did the right scientific testing. We saved her money. We found her root causes right away within just a few weeks. And then we started working on those root causes, right? And she says, I only wish I had found Dory sooner. Don't wait, right? Do this now. And I agree. This is not something we should put on hold, right? This is something that we should all be doing for our health. And so let's look at really what are those bottom line root causes that we need to find. They basically fall into 3 different categories. And of course, there's 100 things in each of these categories, but they do fall into 3 different categories that we know of scientifically. We know that the big one is the toxicities, and toxicities come in all different colors and shapes and sizes and kinds, okay? So they can be like heavy metals or chemicals or pesticides and herbicides, things like that. Or they can be things that come in on your food. They can be things that come in on your environment. They can be molds, yeast. They can also come from living things like Lyme disease, Epstein-Barr disease, all kinds of different living bugs that people can have chronically in their bodies that create a lot of chronic inflammation and metabolic disorder. Okay, that's your biggest category right there. But what happens when your body is overloaded with toxins is then you naturally have cellular deficiencies. Your cells get blocked there, and this is not my opinion. This is real science, okay? When you have toxins in your body, they block the membranes of your cells such that now you can't get everything that you need into the cell, even if you ate a perfect diet. And so it's very important that you not only work on the nutritional and nutrigenomic level, but that you also get rid of the toxins. Because if you don't get rid of the toxins, the gut will stay sick, the immune system will stay sick, your cells will stay sick, your mitochondria will stay sick. So you really do have to get rid of the toxins. And I don't just say that because I'm an immunotoxicologist. I say that because it's a fact and it makes sense, right? And so we've got to help your cells to have everything that they need with a good diet, with following a diet for your own particular genetics, with putting back certain things that maybe you might be missing more of because you've got like a vitamin D genetic deficiency or something. So you have to take extra vitamin D. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to give your cells back what they need. Even in the presence of toxins, you can push things into the cells and help your cells to work better while you're getting rid of the toxins. And then let's not forget about that big category of stress. We know from scientific studies that your traumas, that your stressors literally create inflammation at the cellular level. And those cells can stay chronically inflamed because they get used to living with the stress and the trauma. And so that's why I said that a little while ago, that if you know you're dealing, now everybody's got stress, okay? But if you know that you're dealing with really big, significant traumas that you know are affecting your life, it is super important that you come talk to us. Let us refer you to a really good, functional mental health person like Dr. Daniel Amen, and write his name down. He's amazing. He is a functional psychiatrist and he does amazing work in the brain. He's basically going to help with those deficiencies, and he's going to start moving out toxicities too. But at the same time, he's also going to work on those very deep psychological traumas. And that's part of you getting well. I had to do it too. Okay. I think we all need to do some of that good work. And so when you look at, I know this looks like a really busy slide, but please feel free to take a picture of this and pop it up on your refrigerator so you can understand. And I'll get this out of the way. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But this is what we know. This is like just a pretty colorful picture of what we know about the various different root causes that we see in the chronically ill now. And we call it the genius disease model, because we know that it's toxins at the top, it's different psychological factors and cellular deficiencies. And it's these three things together that are basically causing the gut health issues, the metabolic dysfunction, and all the different chronic diseases that we see. And so when we do the scientific root cause testing, we're looking for all these things. We're looking for all those living toxins like the virus and the bacteria and the molds and all of these things. We're looking for all the chemical toxins, right? Like the herbicides and the glyphosate and just all the junk, right? Everybody's got some electromagnetic radiation because we've all got our cell phones, but when we get rid of all these big things, then this doesn't matter as much anymore. It still matters. It's just easier for our bodies to tolerate this. We got to find all those different cellular deficiencies, right? Make sure that you've got all the different vitamins and minerals and amino acids and antioxidants and the polyphenols and all the good things that your cells need in order to do their work. Got to make sure that we're helping people with motion, oxygen, and nervous system issues. Okay. And then, of course, make sure that we're all working on the psychology. We've all got good intimate friendships, good relationships, that we know how to be emotionally stable and being present, and our spirituality with our community and our personal relationships is extremely important for human health. Right now, be careful. I have a tendency to start preaching, and I actually really love that because I know that I need my church community in order to be healthy, right? I know that, it's Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and me, and all the people, right? And we need each other. We just do. All right. So we're almost done. The 3 steps that you need to take to really start getting your healing on, get your professional life in a place where you want it, whatever you're doing professionally, whatever the Lord has called you to do, right? You need to be able to do it with all the energy that you need, with all the motivation, with all the vitality, right? So step 1 is to get your root cause testing done, right? And what we do is we sit you down and we do a full root cause evaluation first so that we can show you where you should be spending your money on testing, not just, tell you to go mortgage the house so you can do tons of testing. That's ridiculous. And you really don't need to do that. You really only need a few tests to start off with to see where your major root causes are. And then you can get busy working on those very specifically. That's really how easy it is. Okay. And then once you find your root causes, of course, you have to correct them. It's not enough to just see it on a test and go, oh, damn, I've got Epstein-Barr through the roof. Oh, what do I do about that? The doctor says there's nothing I can do. That's just not true. There is so much that you can do. And you can literally put that guy right back down into remission again, and he won't be rearing his ugly head to bother you anymore if you keep everything the way you should. Right? Stop eating McDonald's and stop driving through Starbucks. Start drinking water like this that has got minerals in it. And, I know it looks a little weird, but it tastes great. And it makes you feel awesome, gives you, lots of energy. Okay. And step 3 is making sure that we teach you how to do this, that we don't just tell you what to do and you just follow it blindly, that we teach you why your mitochondria have gotten messed up, that we teach you why your gut health is a mess so that you can keep it happy for the rest of your life. That goes back to that teaching mamas how to take care of their babies and then teaching the babies how they should be taking care of their own bodies so that they can stop the chronic illness. Okay. And, you know, the difference between the before and the after is pretty obvious, right? Like right now, you don't have a clue why you got sick, except maybe from what I told you today, or, you know, maybe you've got, you know, some tests from the doctor, but you don't know all your root causes. Most people come to us not having a clue what their root causes are, or they think that their diagnosis, their thyroid disease, is their root cause. Well, I'm sick because I have thyroid disease. No, no. You are sick because of your root causes. And that caused your symptoms of your thyroid disease. And that's just what the doctors call it. They call it thyroid disease. But you're not sick because of your thyroid disease. You're sick because of the root causes, the toxicities, the heavy metals, the cellular deficiencies, the stress. You get it? That's where I want you. And so we've got to do the testing, find your root causes. Then you know why. You know exactly why. And now you can get busy correcting it, becoming the CEO of your own health, and getting your life and your health back. So that's what we do. We literally transform your health at the cellular level, at the biochemical level, the metabolic and mitochondrial level, the genetic level, the hormone level, the immunologic level, every level, the brain health level. Okay, this is what helps you to heal. Okay, and this is how I healed. And I want to take you back to that place before we go into questions to remind you that, yes, while the new science is generally not covered by insurance yet, and we don't know how long it's going to be, right? It's been a while already. Like we've known about the genetics for 22 years, and yet it's still not covered by insurance. Okay, so there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of stuff going on there. The bottom line is that, yeah, we do need to spend money on our health, just like we spend money on our furniture and our houses and our cars and the things that we love that make our lives happy. We've got to get out of this mindset of thinking that, well, health coverage should be free. I mean, maybe that would be great, but that's not where we're at. Right? And if you go to any country where health coverage is free, they don't do root cause work either. And people are still stuck in a system that is just a sick care management system that's still just making the pharmaceutical companies rich and the surgeons rich. Okay. And so if you want out of that mess, it's true that we all have to invest in our health, and it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. I would much rather put money into healthy food and my good supplements that keep my epigenetics happy and keep me healthy and full of energy and vitality so that I can live the life that God created me to live. I would much rather put my money there than, maybe go buy a $5,000 big screen TV. Okay. And that's important. We need to get out of that mindset. Okay, you will save much more money over time if you fix your root causes sooner rather than later, because it'll be easier to fix your root causes sooner, number one, and you'll keep yourself healthy for the rest of your life. And so I know that makes sense, because it's just the bottom line truth. And what I do here is I give you a full 100% money back guarantee. If you and I decide that we're going to work together, and we don't work with just everybody, right? We'll do a root cause evaluation for anybody. But then we're going to sit down and we're going to decide whether we're a good fit to work together. And what I can promise you with 100% money back guarantee is that we will always use the latest science here. And we guarantee that when we do your root cause testing for you, that we will find your major root causes. And we will do that within about 3 weeks. It's really not a hard process. So all these people walking around today that have no clue why they're sick, scientifically, that should not be. because we have the tools. We can give you your root causes within just a few weeks. And so it's really important that everybody knows what their root causes are and everyone is working at that level to get their health back. I can also guarantee you that if we choose to go into a program to correct your root causes together, that we'll be guiding you with the latest state-of-the-art scientific protocols. And we're going to be helping you correct every root cause that we can find to the best of scientific ability, right? And we will always be collaborative, we'll always be a team together. This will never be like someone, me or any member of my team just tells you what to do and you just do it, right? No, you need to become the CEO of your own health. You need to be a major player on this team. Otherwise, guess what? You're not going to get good results, right? And that's one of the ways that we choose how and whether we choose to work together or not. If you're the kind of person who will actually take your baby steps and will definitely work at this, not just look at your protocol and, oh, I forgot to order my supplements again, right? Those people don't get well, right? The people get well are the ones that, okay, they're not perfect, but okay, yep, I ate this today and I know I'm supposed to eat blueberries for my acromantia because I don't have enough acromantia in my gut. So I ate my blueberries today, and things like that, right? And so basically I just always ask people, I think that's a very fair promise coming from, someone who knows the latest science to you. And so that's just how we work here. Okay. And so what I have to offer you today is a way for you to get started with your root cause package. And so again, this is the first step that we take in order to see how we're going to proceed with testing and how to save you money on that testing. Because again, there are thousands of tests out there. You don't want to spend money on all of them. You don't need to do that. You need to find your major root causes fast and get busy on those, because that's where you're going to get the best and the fastest results. Okay. And so what we do is we're gonna have you fill out a really long form online, and it's pretty deep. It usually takes people a couple of hours at least to fill that thing out. But we ask you to sit down with a cup of tea and just relax and just try to remember things about your health while you're filling out this form. You get it to us, and then we sit down together and we go over that. And basically what we're doing in that first appointment is we're really listening to you. I'm a medical detective. I'm a problem solver. I'm a puzzle piecing girl, right? This is what I do. I take the information, I put it in the puzzle, and I figure out how to get that puzzle put together properly for you uniquely. That's my superpower. That's the gift that God gave me. Okay. And I love using that for people's good. And so we're going to do that root cause evaluation, have you fill out that form, and then from that, we're going to figure out the tests that will give you the most bang for your buck, right? So that you don't waste money on getting your root causes. And when we do this, we are able to determine where you're at. This is how we choose what types of tests you should get right off the bat. Like this particular person, you can see that their nutritional deficiencies were pretty bad. Their metabolic and their adrenals were terrible. So that's their hormones. Thyroid wasn't too bad. So I'm probably not going to, make them spend a lot of money on a thyroid test right off the bat. Let's do some work. Let's fix it. But look at their toxicities came out really high. Gastrointestinal problems came out really high. And this is based on the way they fill out the form and also how we talk and listening to you. This particular person scored very high on infections and biotoxins, so I definitely would order one of those tests for this person. But this particular person didn't really seem to have major hormone issues, maybe had some adrenal issues, but not, major female hormone issues. So I wouldn't go in that direction right off the bat, right? And basically, we can give people an assessment of where they're at, knowing that we can take even people who are more severe, we can take them and move them up the scale, just like I did, just like our clients do. Right. So this is what we do in your root cause evaluation. And it's definitely worth way over $2,500, but we don't charge you anything like that, because what's important to us is that we just get you started. If we can get you started and get some of that testing ordered for you, we know that we can get you on the path to living that life that God intended you to live. And so we want to start you off, make it like really easy for you to start off and just start getting some of your testing done, even if you can't afford it all at once. Hey, I was that person because I was on Social Security disability, and I had to make money and then buy a test, and then wait a couple of months, make money, and then buy another test. But hey, I still got well, right? And so we're always counseling people, don't worry about all that. Don't let money get in the way of your health, because people spend money on lots of things. It's just a matter of prioritizing it so that you can put it towards your health and really get your life back. And so our root cause evaluation is a $597 value. Then we will also, if you've got any previous testing, either from your doctor or even from other functional practitioners who maybe have done some of these, more deeper tests for you, we're going to analyze all of that together. That's a $997 value. We also give you 10% off your customized labs. And we don't have a whole lot of leeway there because we got to pay the labs, right? We're not the labs, right? And the labs are a completely separate business, but we can help out there, especially if people are ordering, 2 or 3 tests at once. Then the lab gives us a special deal, and we can just pass that deal right on to you. And we're happy to do that. And then everyone who works with us always gets 10% off of their supplements for life. And you don't have to order our particular supplements. We really don't care. We're not really making money on supplements, but we just want to make it, we just have our platform, our full script platform, and we just want to give people as a nice little discount. So it just makes it easier for you, because we all need our supplements. Look, I'm 7 years out in my healing. I still take, well, I'm a major biohacker, so I probably take a little more than most people for maintenance because I'm trying all these new things. But I spend on myself personally about $300 a month just on my supplements, right? I'm happy to do that because they make me better. I'd rather put that $300 into my supplements than go out to dinner or buy a new outfit or buy a new pair of shoes, right? And so that's my mindset. And of course, I'm happier and healthier for doing it. And so I know you're going to love this price because it's an absolute steal. And so we're doing our root cause evaluation today for only $97. So it's at least a $2,500 value. But like I say, we want to sit down with you. We want to get you started. We're not dumb. We know that if we can get you started at a lower price, then it's easier for you to take that next little step to get a test done, and that next little step to fix those root causes. And so there we are. That's what I have to offer you today. And I hope that you love that. And I hope to be able to see you soon in a meeting. And all you have to do to get this deal is just take a picture of the little QR code there. Or you can just take a picture with your camera of this bit.ly/root cause 7. Either way. And they're going to take you over to our website where you can get your root cause evaluation. Okay. And I already talked about a little about this slide, but I always ask people, just, think back to what you spent the last time you got your hair done, right? Most women spend anywhere from, 75 to 125 bucks getting their hair done. You could have had a root cause evaluation for that, right? How much did you spend the last time you took your family out to eat? You could have had a root cause evaluation. You could have been the next step towards your awesome new healthy self, right? And so it's important to think that way, just prioritize and you can get your health back for sure, for sure. And this is Pam. She says, Dory in her program, I missed. She says she's graduated from the program by now. She doesn't need me anymore. She says, Dory in her program gave me answers when I was told there were none. Dory gave me hope when I was told I was hopeless. And best of all, Dory gave me support when others walked away. Look at that big smile on her face. And this is Christy. So we have clients all over the world. We are an international virtual company here, and we also have our office in San Diego, California. But we work with people all over the world. As long as they can speak English and we can help them, then we do. And Christy's in Hungary, and she says, I absolutely love Dory's confidence in finding our root causes, and I trust her knowledge to get my vibrant health back. I used to feel very negative about my illness, but Dory's bright and positive personality always helps me to stay hopeful. I feel blessed to be working on my root causes, and I no longer feel like I'm a victim of autoimmune disease. And I love that statement that she made, because you are not a victim of your health issues. You are not stuck. You do not have to stay there. There is so much that you can do. And this is Lindsay. Lindsay says, Dory has been blessed with a tremendous gift from God as a medical detective. She's kind and compassionate and has always been there for me throughout my healing journey. God bless you. And I love Lindsay too. And I haven't seen her in a while because she's graduated. She's doing so much better at this point. And so there's the little QR code for you to take a picture of again. And just a reminder that you have been given a choice, right? And I don't believe that anything happens by coincidence. I believe that God brings us all together for a purpose. And you do need to take some kind of action today. If you're still on the fence about working with me, or hey, maybe I rubbed you the wrong way or something, right? At least go and do your research about what I've told you. At least take an action step so you are moving in the direction of learning the new science and getting your health back. Okay? You can totally achieve this. You really, really can. And so I want to give you that hope today, just like me. Imagine I'm supposed to be in a box in the ground right now, but instead I'm not going to tell you my age because my biological age is younger anyway, but I'm here. I'm 95% healed. I'm off disability. I'm off medication. I've got my science career back. I'm crushing it, right? This mission that the Lord gave me is doing awesome. And why? Because we're helping people. We're doing the Lord's work. And so whatever work that the Lord has given you to do, we need to make sure that you're healthy enough to do it. Okay. All right. All right. So I want to thank you for being here and listening to me drone on and on and on. And now I want to open it up for questions. And I know that there's probably people watching on the live stream. Feel free to use the link that I sent, and you can come on in and you can ask questions. And I know that Ingrid is here, and there's someone named iPhone. I don't know who that person is, but I'm happy to answer your personal questions.
So after you do the form online, are the meetings with you in person?
Yes. Well, not necessarily in person unless you're in the San Diego area.
I
Are
am.
you? You are?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Ramona.
You're in Ramona too.
I know I saw that you were.
Yeah, we just opened our new office here in Ramona. So we've been at my ranch for 7 years,
Oh,
and we just decided to open the new office. So it's going to be the new Cellular Regeneration and Longevity Center.
and where is that located in Ramona?
Right? Okay, you know where the Tractor Supply store is?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay. Everybody in Ramona knows where the Tractor Supply store is.
Yes, we do.
So right across the street, there's a big, pretty blue and white building that's a Coldwell Banker building.
Oh, yes.
We're
Uh-huh.
right in there.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. And we're having our
Yes.
grand opening. We're open for business now, of course,
Uh,
but we're having our big grand opening and health fair on April 4th. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to invite all of the health and wellness people in the community out, and we're going to have Ramona Ranch Winery here, and Ramona Family Naturals is going to be here, and we've got some healthy food vendors. We're going to have Ashley Norton is doing music for us. It's going to be
Yep.
a lot of fun.
Yes, I unfortunately can't come to that. I'm going to be out of town, but I did read that you guys were doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, well, I will be doing the form. And then after doing that, I'm sure that we'll be in touch somehow.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
we are a 5-star concierge service provider here. So we're what's known as a boutique clinic. That's
Okay.
kind of how they describe us. And that's because it's not like just going to a doctor and then you wait 6 weeks, so then you come back again. When you
Right.
work with us, I make the joke that I'm like your Jewish mama, that I'm going to
Okay.
be like right in the middle of your life helping you, right? My whole
Okay.
team is going to be right there with you. We have daily service that you can talk to us. We actually require people to be in weekly meetings with
Okay.
us. And so we're deep, we're hands-on.
Okay. Perfect. It's not my first rodeo, but I can save that for another day because I know there's other people that have questions probably.
Okay. Well, what
So,
do you want to tell me what you're suffering with, or you want to wait for that?
oh, I'm fine with that. Are there other people that are listening to the conversation or?
Yes, there are. So,
Okay. So it might be something somebody else has, but rheumatoid arthritis and Hashimoto's.
okay. Well, Hashimoto's, it's what's, leading to the RA, right?
Right.
It's the metabolic syndrome that caused that caused your Hashimoto's in the first place. And Hashimoto's is one of the easiest things to fix,
Oh, okay. Cool.
but your doctor will never tell you that. They'll just put you on the
Oh,
medication
no.
the rest of your life and zap
Right.
your thyroid with, all kinds of things if you need it. But really, it is one of the easiest things to fix. But we've got to find what your root causes are.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
Got to work at that level.
Okay. Good.
Mhm.
All right.
Ingrid, where do you live, Ingrid? What part of Ramona?
Toward the West End.
The West
By
End.
yeah, kind of by Die in 67.
Mhm. Very nice.
Yeah. So
Are you off on Highland Road?
no, we're on the Die Road.
The Die Road.
Yeah.
It's so pretty down there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure there's other environmental things and
Everywhere.
once I fill out those forms, you'll probably see.
Mhm. Yeah, everywhere. But oftentimes that's the area when we start getting into the toxicities that people get really afraid of, because they
Mhm.
think, oh my gosh, well, I live next to a farm and they're spraying, and what am I supposed to do? It's in the water, right?
Yeah.
And so people will get really freaked out and scared about that. And what I love giving people is the truth, in that if your immune system is not completely overloaded with 25 different problems,
Mhm.
you can handle what's going on
Gotcha.
in your little area,
Okay.
right? If your But if you're not living according to your genetics and you're not detoxing properly, and then you're overloaded, and then you've also got some EBV over here, and you've got this problem over there, and you're driving
Sure.
30 miles, and right, you got all those problems. It's like our own American military. If they had to fight, 7 different countries at once, they're not going to be as effective. And it's the same way with our bodies, that if we just get most of the crap out of our lives,
Mhm.
right? Then our immune systems are amazing. They can take care of the rest. So it doesn't
Okay.
have to be perfect. You don't necessarily have to move.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Well, I look forward to meeting you.
Yes, I as well.
And you do look familiar. Like, I don't know, like I might have seen you in the nail place or something. You look really
Well,
familiar.
I am a teacher in the district,
Okay.
so that could be it.
Which school are you at?
At the middle school.
At the middle school. Well, my girls are way old now, so I've got my granddaughter Jana just turned 19.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so she's way past middle school now. She went to middle school up in Julian though, and then
Okay.
came down here for high school.
Okay. Well, did your children go to elementary school in Ramona or?
Not in Ramona, no.
Okay.
I was doing all of my schoolwork at Duke University and North
Oh,
Carolina
okay.
State, Virginia Tech. So we were back east for a long
Okay.
time before I came back home. But I was born and raised in Lakeside.
Okay. Very good.
Mhm.
Ah, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you. Yeah. So once you click that thing and you pay your money,
Okay.
so a member of our team will probably be in touch with you tomorrow. It's a
Okay.
day, but that they'll be in touch with you tomorrow, and they'll make sure that you get your forms, and they'll
Okay.
hold your hand every step of the way.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I
Welcome.
will be in touch with you.
Good. Nice meeting you.
Yes. Nice meeting you too.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and I do have a little more time. Who's the iPhone person? Happy to answer any questions for you, or if there's anyone on the live stream and you'd like to come in and ask a question, I've got a little more time I can spend here. Now's the time that I should play the Jeopardy music. Dun, 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 dun. Are you going to a church here in town, Ingrid?
No, I don't have one here in town. Do you?
I'm a worship leader over at Mountain View. That's
Okay.
the big white one on the way out
Yep.
to Escondido. So
Yes.
anytime you'd like to come, we welcome you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. That's a great church.
Yes, I
Really
have
down
quite
to
a few friends that go there. My mom used to go there, so yeah.
Yeah. I love the pastors there. They're just very transparent. They're not uppity, like judgmental, you know what I mean? They're
Yep.
just real people, just
Yeah.
to be, just trying to follow Jesus, right? It's good stuff.
Yep. Yep. I hear you.
Okay, and I do have a question in the chat here. Let's see. You're welcome. I'm happy to give you the information. This is the work that God created me to do. She's asking, or he's asking, what was the name of the functional psychologist you mentioned? That would be Dr. Daniel Amen, and I will put that in the chat. Now he's a bigwig. He's probably a little more expensive, but if you need a local alternative, or if you're not local and you need a different alternative than Daniel Amen, then you can always call our office. And I'll put our office phone number there too. It's 760-460-4344. That's our main office number. And yeah, we can get a referral for you, absolutely. And, awesome that you're thinking in those directions because, most of us have had some traumas in life and we do need to do some work to get our inflammation down in that area. And so, yeah. And how much does it cost to work with you after the root cause evaluation? And how much does testing usually cost? Really good questions. Okay. So it does depend on the individual and what you need, but I'm always super transparent about this. Testing can run anywhere from a few $100s per test all the way up to there's one that's like $1,600, but to be honest, it's like way too expensive. I hardly ever run it for anybody. I don't think it's that necessary, but some people, they want, the test with all the millions of bells and whistles. All right. I don't think it's really necessary, but typically the tests that we run here, there's a couple of big ones that we start off with that are right around like $600. But they're doing a lot of heavy lifting for you. Right. And so sometimes when people think $600 for a test, ouch, right? Yeah, pull it together because these kinds of tests will save your life. They really will. And it's worth it. I mean, think about what you spent over the last couple of months. You probably spent 600 on nothing pretty easily, so most people can pull that together, even if it takes a few months to make it happen. Right. Even me being super broke on Social Security disability when I was sick, I found a way to do it. I knitted and crocheted and sold little things and I just did what I had to do to get well. Right. So have that mindset and it will reward you. Absolutely. And then working with us after you get your testing back, again, depends a lot on what your problems are and how much work we need to do. I can tell you the average would be right around $6,000 or $7,000 for like a 6 to 8 month program, right? And of course, that is a full concierge service. That's not just, a visit once every 6 weeks with a chiropractor. Okay. That's full service. And so we also have things in between. So if people aren't quite ready to do the full shebang, not a problem. We figured it out and we help you with what's affordable for you right now. Because remembering that's where I was when I was getting well. And I was about as broke as you could get without living in a tent in Tijuana. Okay. And I still made it happen. Okay. And so nobody can tell me, oh, you can't afford it. Yes, you can. If I can do it, you can do it. Most people can do this. It's just where are you going to start and where are you going to take your baby steps? Okay. And when we just spread it out and make it happen. The other thing too is that we have medical funding now that we didn't have when I was getting well, like, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. We didn't have those options. If you didn't have a credit card, you were living on Social Security disability, you were just screwed back then, right? But now we do. We've got medical funding and it spreads out the payments. And I think like the first 12 months is interest free and just, right, there are options is what I'm trying to say to make this, a lot more affordable for you. Okay. But we're really easy to work with here. We've got lots of different things that we can do to help with along the way. Okay. All right. All right. Are there any more questions that I can answer? Okay, well then I've had a good time being with you all today. I know that there's probably going to be a lot of people who are watching on the social media networks and please feel free to call our office there at that 760-460-4349. And you can text your questions there, or you can call and you can talk with our client concierge. Her name is Kaylee. She's awesome. She loves answering your questions. She can also get you a meeting with me. She can answer most questions as well. So please feel free to call or text our number there, and we're here for you. We're happy to help you. So everybody have a great evening. Ingrid, I'll look forward to seeing you soon. All righty. And have a great night.